Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Money Mondays. My name is Belinda Ray. I am the Director of Strategic Partnerships here at GPCOG,
And
joined
my name
by,
is, I'm Paul
sorry,
Johnson. I'm the Director of Economic and Community Development here at GPCOG.
we're here to give you Money Mondays, funding opportunities, woo, jazz hands, and regional resources for our members and partners. And we will go ahead and get started today, as usual, with Paul.
Okay, super quick today for me. I just have quick resource for the Naval Quebec Annual Conference, and that is being held, or not held, but MITSI, otherwise known as Maine International Trade Center, is looking for any businesses or organizations that would be interested in going as part of Maine's delegation. So this is essentially for shipbuilding supply chain. So if you have anybody in town, if you're an economic development director or a town manager, and you have any business in town that might be in any way, shape, or form involved in shipbuilding. So for example, I know Howell Labs up in Bridgeton, right? They do all sorts of activities for the shipbuilding industry. So if anybody in your town is part of the shipbuilding supply chain, and they have never interacted with Mitzi, or if they have, this is a great opportunity to go up to Canada to help strengthen relationships, maybe get some new accounts, some new contracts, and make millions and millions and millions of dollars. And I believe they go every time it's in town. But there is room this year, so I wanted to plug it. And I know a lot of times off top of your head, it's hard to figure out who might be in this industry, but I bet you there's somebody in town that might be interested. And as always, a quick little easy link if you want some of the details to forward along to your constituents or a business owner in town, or to put it in your town newsletter.
Awesome. Thank you, Paul. And I am talking about two things today. First is the Island Institute Community Planning Grants. These are grants that are funding for, as it says here, community sea level rise preparedness. So they like to provide flexible funding and hands-on support. And that is to help people address the climate-related risks that are upfront most important for them. So it's community driven. And some of those concerns might be flooding, erosion, changing ecosystems for different species, infrastructure vulnerabilities, or an economic disruption that is caused by a climate hazard of some sort. They want, like I said, your projects to reflect local priorities. So it's very important. Island Institute is really interested in making sure these things are community driven, that it's not just one person someplace thinks this is a good idea. They want to know the community has buy-in. They want to get you started on something, help you build momentum toward a final solution. And whatever you're doing needs to align with Maine won't wait. So some of the potential activities you might be able to do with these grants are the early planning for something, the vulnerability assessments that you need to do to determine where you have issues, public engagement. You might be planning for a nature-based solution of some sort. Small scale implementation work. So you could begin the implementation. You're probably not going to finish it with this particular grant, but like I said, they want you to build momentum, get this project moving. Some examples of projects that have been done. So a vulnerability or a risk assessment. If you want to plan for your natural resources or your infrastructure, again, community engagement around your adaptation priorities to kind of create what are the priorities in the community, or even going so far as doing studies, geology or hydrology studies to get things beginning to go. You can get up to 20,000. So yes, obviously implementation is not going to happen through this grant, but they want to get you closer to implementing things that you are looking to do to shore up your community against sea level rise. There is no match required, but you are asked to list your funding resources. The grant period is up to 1 year, and that is because you have to issue a final report 12 months from your award date. So you want to be wrapping up within that year and writing your final report. They will give priority to applicants who are already working with the Island Institute on some kind of climate planning project, or applicants that are located in the 15 year-round unbridged islands and coastal communities in Washington County. Those are the priorities. Other coastal communities can apply, but these are the folks that will get priority. The difficulty here is a 2. They have a PDF that you can download, and that will allow you to prep for an online application. It is clear, the steps are easy. There, you need to write 2 to 3 pages each on things like project summary, the description of need, showing that it is needed, and the community support and involvement, how you will get people involved, how people are already involved. So it's not a huge lift. The deadline is rolling. This opened on July 1st, and it remains open. You can submit right up until June 1st. But as with any rolling application, it's always good to get in early, because once the funds are gone, they're gone. And this is an annual opportunity. So again, if this is something that you have to think about for a year, next July 1st, 2026, it will open again for another year of rolling opportunity. The priorities might shift also to make your community more of a priority. So those can change from year to year. So if it doesn't work for you this year, it might work for you next year. The next things you might want to do are take a look at the grant page, go through that PDF preview of the application. They have an application portal. So many people do this now. You need to establish an account with them and make sure your account is working, because that's where you will apply, is through their portal. And if you have any questions as you are getting ready to start the application, contact Abby Roche. Her email is right there. So one other thing before we wrap up, the Electrification Coalition is holding a webinar this month about expanding your fleet with emergency service vehicles that are electric. This is on Thursday, so this Thursday, 2 p.m. There's a register link there. And what this is other communities who have transitioned their fleets talking about how it's working. So you can find out, okay, are the fire engines and the police vehicles and the transport, are these emergency vehicles working the way people want them to? What are the challenges? How did they do this? How did they switch their fleets over? Does this interest us? So good way to start learning from other communities around the United States and finding out how they did this and how it's going. So questions on anything, or if you want to contact us, our emails are right there as always. Did that just not stop sharing for you? Okay, yeah, there we go. There we go. Paul, anything else you would like to say today?
I don't know, but that was 3 topics in 8 minutes. So that's like, what is that? That's that's what, 2 minutes and 45 seconds per topic. So good on
That's
us,
very
right?
quick. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
very quick. Yes, and I have, you know what, I can read you my tea bag tag has words of wisdom for us today. This is what
All
I
right.
got this morning. All right, ready?
Yep.
Without the darkness, you would never know the light. So take that with you through the week. Have a great week.
And I think it's time for us to go dark.
It is. Find the light.